Next up on Wicked Wheels, we look at a 1963 Corvette Sting Ray with the much desired split rear window.
Hi, I'm Chris, looking at a 1963 Corvette split window coupe built in November 1st, 1962. There was about 21,000 Corvettes built. This is the first year for the C2 edition, which is the independent rear suspension, just a completely different body style than the C1s. There was around 10,200 that were built as coupes, which is the split window. There's not a lot of these left. They're very highly sought after cars, probably one of the most sought after Corvettes. This one is the 327 300 horsepower version. This car was rebuilt in Alaska, of all places. Apparently, from what I understand, there's a number of body rebuilders in Alaska. It's a fairly popular trade up there. I suspect it was in rough condition. They put a new frame in it, and I've got the bills for the parts and things like that. There's about $100,000 worth of parts that went into it. It started its life in Virginia. How it ended up in Alaska, I do not know. And it was sent by sea container down to Seattle, Washington. And it was a snowbird pilot that bought it out of Seattle, Washington. He subsequently sold it to a friend of his in Vancouver, British Columbia, and that's where I purchased it from. I've had it 3 summers now and pulled the transmission, did some work underneath on it, but what you see is kind of the condition I bought it in.
Ready?
Yeah.
Live the dream?
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Here it all is. Sideways radio. Everything works. The clock. You got your oil pressure. You got your temperature. Your tach. Speedometer. Cigarette lighter. Wipers. Charge. Fuel. Lights.
And it's even got power windows.
Okay, we're doing the speed limit.
This is a very nice driving car. Power steering, power brakes, very comfortable. 1963 was the first year that they came out with the independent rear suspension rather than the solid axle. 1 spring running from side to side. And this car is number 2700, so this is one of the very first cars that Corvette made to incorporate the independent rear suspension. The exhaust system goes right through the frame. The frame goes up into what they call bird cage above the rear wheels. The transmission happens to be a Borg Warner. They changed partway through the year to a Muncie, which was probably a better transmission, but then the T10 Borg Warner. Power steering, power brakes. They were still drum brake back in 63. They went to disc 65, I think, was the first year for the disc. The car has been completely redone. Obviously, everything looks as though it was brand new because it is. It was NCRS judged, and it's a top flight car. I knew this would get to top flight, and sure enough, it did. The closer you can get it to factory correct, the better scoring you get as far as a flight is concerned. Original numbers matching transmission, differential, and engine, and even the engine horsepower rating hasn't been changed. You lose a lot of points and a lot of value to the car if you try to customize it too much. It is a big throat for the putting fuel in. In fact, you got to be careful. You wouldn't want to be smoking a cigarette because gas will come spurting out as it gets up to the top. So you got to be very careful when you're filling these. And the last little bit, you're just streaming it in nice and slow. It's amazing how big a throat that fuel cap opening is.